Now, before he had left his party, Heavy Collar had said to his young men, "Now remember, if any one of us should get separated from the party, let him always travel to the Belly River Buttes. There will be our meeting place." When their leader did not return to them, the party started across the country and went toward the Belly River Buttes. Heavy Collar had followed the river up and had gone a long distance out of his way. Then when he awoke from his sleep, he too started straight for the Belly River Buttes, as he said he would. When his party reached the buttes, one of them went up on top of the hill to watch. After a time, as he looked down the river, he saw two people coming, and as they came near, he saw that one of them was Heavy Collar, and by his side was a woman. The watcher called up the rest of the party and said to them, "Here comes our chief. He has had luck. He is bringing a woman with him. If he brings her into the camp, we will take her away from him." And they all laughed. They supposed that he had captured her. They went down to the camp and sat about the fire, looking at the two people coming, and laughing among themselves at the idea of their chief bringing in a woman. When the two persons had come close, they could see that Heavy Collar was walking fast, and the woman would walk by his side a little way, trying to keep up, and then would fall behind, and then trot along to catch up to him again. Just before the pair reached camp, there was a deep ravine that they had to cross. They went down into this side by side, and then Heavy Collar came up out of it alone and came on into the camp. When he got there, all the young men began to laugh at him and call out, "Heavy Collar, where is your woman?" They looked at them for a moment and then said, "Why, I have no woman. I do not understand what you are talking about." One of them said, "Oh, he has hidden her in that ravine. He was afraid to bring her into camp." Another said, "Where did you capture her, and what tribe does she belong to?" Heavy Collar looked from one to the other and said, "Wow, I think you're all crazy. Have taken a woman? What do you mean?" The young man said, "Why, that woman that you just had with you, just now. Where did you get her? Where did you leave her? Is she down in the coulee? We all saw her, and it's no use to deny that she was with you. Come on now, where is she?" When they said this, Heavy Collar's heart grew very heavy, for he knew that it must have been the ghost woman, and he told them the story. Some of the young men could not believe this, and they went down to the ravine where they had last seen the woman. There they saw in the soft dirt the tracks made by Heavy Collar when he went down into the ravine, but there were no other tracks near his, where they had seen the woman walking. When they found that it was a ghost that had come along with Heavy Collar, they resolved to go back to the main camp. The party had been out so long that their moccasins were all worn out, and some of them were footsore so that they could not travel fast, but at last they came to the cut banks, and there found their camp, 7 lodges. That night, after they reached the camp, they were inviting each other to feasts. It was getting pretty late in the night, and the moon was shining brightly, when one of the Bloods called out for Heavy Collar to come and eat with them. Heavy Collar shouted, "Yes, I will be there pretty soon." He got up and went out of the lodge and went a little way from it and sat down. While he was sitting there, a big bear walked out of the brush close to him. Heavy Collar felt around for a stone to throw at the bear so as to scare it away, for he thought it had not seen him. As he was feeling about, his hand came upon a piece of bone, and as he threw this over at the bear and hit it, then the bear spoke and said, "Well, well, well, Heavy Collar, you killed me once, and now you are hitting me. Where is there a place in this world where you can hide from me? I will find you. I don't care where you go." When Heavy Collar heard this, he knew it was the ghost woman, and he jumped up and ran toward his lodge, calling out, "Run, run, a ghost bear is upon us." All the people in the camp ran to his lodge, so it was crowded, full of people. There was a big fire in the lodge, and the wind was blowing hard from the west. Men, women, and children were huddled together in the lodge and were very much afraid of the ghost. They could hear her walking toward the lodge, grumbling, "Rrr, rrr," and saying, "I will kill all these dogs. Not one of them shall get away." The sounds kept coming closer and closer until they were right at the lodge door. Then she said, "I will smoke you to death." And as she said this, she moved the poles so that the wings of the lodge turned toward the west, and the wind could blow in freely through the smoke hole. All this time she was threatening terrible things against them. The lodge began to get full of smoke, and the children were crying, and all were in great distress, almost suffocating. So they said, "Let us lift one man up here inside and let him try to fix the ears so that the lodge will get clear of the smoke." They raised a man up, and he was standing on the shoulders of the others, and blinded and half strangled by the smoke. He was trying to turn the wings, but while he was doing this, the ghost suddenly hit the lodge a blow. And said, "Ugh!" And this scared the people who were holding the man, and they jumped and let him go, and he fell down. Then the people were in despair and said, "It is no use. She is resolved to smoke us to death." All the time the smoke was getting thicker in the lodge. Heavy Collar said, "Is it possible that she can destroy us? Is there no one here who has some strong dream power that can overcome this ghost?" His mother said, "I will try to do something. I am older than any of you, and I will see what I can do." So she got down her medicine bundle, and she painted herself, and she got out a pipe and filled it and lighted it, and she stuck the stem out through the lodge door and sat there and began to pray to the ghost woman. She said, "Oh, ghost, take pity on us and go away. We have never wronged you, but you are troubling us and frightening our children. Accept what I offer you and leave us alone." A voice came from behind the lodge and said, "No, no, no, you dogs, I will not listen to you. Every one of you must die." And the old woman repeated her prayer, "Ghost, take pity on us, accept this smoke and go away." Then the ghost said, "How can you expect me to smoke when I am way back here? Bring that pipe out here. I have no long bill to reach around the lodge." So the old woman went out of the lodge door and reached out the stem of the pipe as far as she could reach around toward the back of the lodge. The ghost said, "No, I do not wish to go around there to where you have that pipe. If you want me to smoke it, you must bring it here." The old woman went round to the lodge toward her, and the ghost woman began to back away and said, "No, I do not smoke that kind of a pipe." And when the ghost started away, the old woman followed her, and she could not help herself. She called out, "Oh, my children, the ghost is carrying me off." Heavy Collar rushed out and called to the others, "Come and help me take my mother from the ghost." He grabbed his mother about the waist and held her, and another man took him by the waist, and another him, until they were all strung out, one behind the other, and all following the old woman, who was following the ghost woman, who was walking away. All at once, the old woman let go of the pipe and fell over, dead. The ghost disappeared, and they were troubled no more by the ghost woman. That's all. Heavy Collar, the ghost woman from Blackfoot Lodge Tales by George Bird Grinnell. Always liked that story.